So amidst all the terrible news coming out of Israel right now with the terror attack, I thought maybe we could have a little bit of light relief to see our friend Greta Thunberg, who's currently on a flotilla on her way to Gaza to break the blockade. You know, last time what happened was Israel intercepted them, offered her a sandwich, showed her a movie of the October 7th massacre, which she refused to watch, which just shows utter selective sympathy. And she's not actually interested in morality or human rights. And then they sent her on a flight back to where she came from. I think maybe this time they should do it differently. They should keep her hostage. They should take her and put her in prison and say, we're not releasing her until Hamas release all the hostages. How about that? But anyway, here she is talking about why caring about the climate and Palestine are somehow all part of the same battle. It's bewildering, to be honest. Have a watch.
Asking me what are the links between climate justice and Palestine, and why do you care about Palestine? I do not understand how people cannot see that connection. In what ways are Palestine and climate justice?
I'm liking your Israel necklace, by the way. Very nice, very nice.
Not connected. Why should I not care about Palestine? I am a human being. I have basic values, common sense. Of course, there are the obvious links between climate justice, environmental destruction, and Palestine, which is wars, occupations, environmental degradation, ecocide, huge emissions. They go hand in hand, as Palestinians know very, very well, by destroying all the conditions to maintain and sustain life, by, for example, destroying cropland, and just pure.
Do you mean like destroying all the greenhouses that Israel left over to the Arabs as a gesture for peace when they disengaged from their own territory in 2005 when they left Gaza? How's that for climate degradation? Do you care about that? Does that bother you with your friends in Hamas, Greta?
Pure ecocides are one way of ecological warfare to deprive Palestinians of their means of sustaining life. But also, it should be much more simple that if you care about a habitable planet, you should also care about humans, human well-being.
Yeah, like you should care about creating another terror state. That would be a great idea if you really care about humans.
I'm not a climate activist because I want to save trees or frogs. Like, that is also very important. We should avoid a climate breakdown. But I'm a climate activist because I care about human as well as planetary well-being. And even if we are so selfish.
You know what this logic reminds me of? It reminds me of, what's that famous meme? This is what I think of when she's trying to explain how the two are connected. Because, well, you know, ultimately the frogs and the thing, but if you care about the human life and the thing, then that's how we got to, decolonization. That's what. Oh, yeah. It's painful.
That the images from Gaza of people looking for body parts of their lost family members through the rubble, if that doesn't break our hearts and inspire us, not inspire, but motivate us to take action, how can we expect a world that is allowing this to happen, to take a few steps back and act to prevent an ecological and climate breakdown? And also, how can we expect that world to stand up for us when we need it?
So let me just get this straight. She's trying to understand, how is it that we can look at images of people suffering in Gaza and not be heartbroken and want to act? These are people who are suffering in a war in which the other side got involved because they were attacked with an indiscriminate genocidal attack by the government of that people. Is she not moved at all by the images of October 7th? Clearly not. She didn't even want to watch it. But when the people who were attacked on that day go in and try to destroy the terrorist and governmental infrastructure, and there are some people who aren't directly fighting that get killed, because that's what happens in war, she thinks that should break her hearts, but not what happened on October 7th. I just don't get the logic. I don't get the logic. there's, as we've said multiple times, the lowest ratio of combatant to non-combatant ever seen in the history of urban warfare in Israel's fight against Hamas in Gaza. And yet that's unacceptable. Well, if it's the lowest ever, that means you literally couldn't achieve a better precision. So if Israel has incomparable precision, and that's still unacceptable for you, then what you're saying is you want Hamas to survive, to thrive, and you basically want to see Jews fall on their swords and die. That's what you're calling for. So don't you dare claim to me that you are a humanitarian. Don't you dare claim to me that you somehow are in this just for the sake of the well-being of human beings in the world. This is cynical. This is hateful. It's ridiculous. Now here she is on the boat talking about, what was it? Some kind of frog hat?
Breaking news, everyone. Greta has lost the frog hat. Huge. If anyone can find us a frog hat and bring it in Tunis.
Please. It is part of my identity.
So just to understand, as Neo Berg put it, I don't believe these people care at all about Gaza or genuinely think there's a genocide happening. It's just vibes and sailing trips in the Mediterranean, so they actually have jobs. I don't like questioning the motives of people, but honestly, sometimes when I look at this, I have to conclude maybe there is something just completely cynical here. You know, sometimes people who I vehemently disagree with, I say, I vehemently disagree with you, but I'm sure you're sincere. I think there's a lot of narcissistic attention-seeking going on here, to be honest. But what do I know?
We are hearing direct reports on the ground through the journalists we have on board, and it is absolutely heartbreaking and appalling to hear what is happening. And this, by no mistake, this should be very clear that this should not come as a surprise. Israel has been very clear that they have genocidal intent, and they are planning to take over the Gaza Strip.
Oh, that's for sure. I hope they do that.
Palestinians...
Not the genocidal bit, but taking over Gaza, because let's be clear, we gave it over to the other side in 2005, and look what happened. They created a terror state. I said that for the well-being of Arabs, by the way, as well, in that area.
Have been warning about this for a very, very long time. Not the least journalists, but also experts in international law have been warning the world about this. And Israel just keep violating law after law, keep abusing human rights and committing war crime after another. And still the world is not waking up. But
does she have anything to say about Hamas? I genuinely wonder. Is she bothered at all by what Hamas are doing? Does she consider any of that to be war crimes or wrong? Now, let's see what she says here. We will not be stopped by the baseless threats of Israeli individuals. She says her mission will be successful and that Israel fears her.
Hello. People keep asking us to comment on Israeli officials' threats to imprison us volunteers on the Global Summit Flotilla as terrorists. And honestly, I don't think these statements are worth commenting on, since they are completely baseless and have no legal grounds, and are of course part of a larger communications strategy to silence those in solidarity with Palestine and further dehumanize Palestinians. But I do want to make some things very clear, that we will not be stopped by the baseless threats of Israeli officials who use genocidal political propaganda in desperate attempts to try to silence and scare us.
No, it's not genocidal. It's just protecting their own people. You're the one that's genocidal, waving that flag that is the modern day equivalent of a swastika. You're the one that's genocidal, that's supporting a government and a cause whose only mission is not human rights or self-determination, but to destroy the Jews and the Jewish state and Jewish self-determination, that doesn't want peace. It wants to kill the Jews, and has shown itself time and time again to be interested in actual genocide. Greta, you are what you accuse Israel of, which is the story really of anti-Semitism. Tell me what you accuse the Jews of, as Vasily Grossman says, and I will show you what you are guilty of. In 1948, the world witnessed the rebirth of the Jewish state, the State of Israel. a moment celebrated as a miracle of survival and self-determination after centuries of persecution and the horrors of the Holocaust. Yet for decades, this event has been twisted into a narrative of theft and catastrophe, with the so-called Nakba portrayed as Israel's original sin, where Jews allegedly stole Arab land and displaced innocents in a premeditated act of ethnic cleansing. But what if this story is fundamentally inverted? What if the cause and effect are the other way around? Not Israel aggressively seizing territory and Arabs responding in self-defense, but Arabs, driven by deep-seated hatred, rejecting the Jews' legal and historical rights to live in their ancestral homeland and waging a genocidal war long before Israel's re-establishment. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to uncover the unvarnished truth about 1948, the centuries of pogroms and anti-Semitic violence that set the stage, the Arab leaders' explicit calls for extermination, and the defensive war Israel fought to secure its existence. We'll challenge the pervasive lies head-on, showing how Arab rejection of peace wasn't about creating a Palestinian state, but about denying Jews the right to live at all. From the Nazi-allied leader of the Arabs in Palestine, the Mufti al-Husseini, to the forgotten occupations by Jordan and Egypt, when no Palestinian state was even considered, this is the story of a conflict rooted not in displacement, but in whether the Jews deserve to live in their homeland. Join us as we debunk the myths with facts, confront the historical record fairly but firmly, and reveal why 1948 was not an act of aggression, but a righteous response to annihilation. This is what really happened in 1948. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.